Hi guys and welcome back. Today we're doing a recap on what I have read this month along with the books that I have bought. Definitely haven't started this month off as well as I'd hoped. I was absolutely smashing it. I was reading like one book over every 2 days, sometimes reading a book a day before the new year, but the last week or so I haven't picked up a book. I've literally just finished Lord of the Rings, so I've only read 2 books this month, which was Hotel 21 and Lord of the Rings, which was from my TBR. Yeah, so let's jump into the review, I guess. So the book Hotel 21 by Center Rich, let me show that to you here. Yeah, it's a pretty good book, to be fair. The author, I believe, is actually living here in Ireland at the moment. They're in Dublin, which I thought was pretty interesting. I didn't know anything about the author until I looked her up. This is her first book and it's a pretty decent book for her first attempt. Well, not a first attempt, but first published book that I could find anyway. So pretty good debut. The book itself is about a hotel cleaner who goes off on a thrill of stealing things, but it's kind of niche little things like a bobbing pin, nail file, a little pair of scissors. It's nothing substantial. Now there are some things in the book that she mentions that are a little bit more riskier, like small bits of jewellery, makeup, the little odd things, but it's about how she kind of goes to different locations. And this one is all about her 21st hotel. So it goes from the first place she worked from all the way through to where she was then. And how she's made friends, friendships, and different basically personalities she's created along the way. And it also delves into family relationships, the relationship she had with her mother, which doesn't necessarily explain why she steals things, but it explains kind of why she is a little. I'm definitely interested in reading another book from her. I read this pretty quickly. I think it only took me a couple of days. And honestly, there was some issues. Now, their description of disability in the book was a little bit ableist, but if you put yourself in the shoes of the character, that train of thought does make sense. So I would be curious to see if the author, maybe that's a bias the author has, or was that specific to the character's kind of world? Because if that's specific to just the character's world and there's no other issues in any of the other books, I don't see it. You know, it's one of those things. It's a character, you're in their headspace, that's how they think. It's a pretty good book. It also meant that I could tick off yellow from my rainbow challenge, and a H from my A to Z, so that was fun. Now then, this book technically took me the rest of the month, Lord of the Rings. I still have the other 2 to read. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I am just going to plan on reading one of the Lord of the Rings a month. I have only just finished this book. I've read it before. I don't know why it took me so long, but oh my god. It was a drag. A massive, massive drag. I love the world. I love it. Like, I love the lore behind it and everything, but it's definitely a really difficult reading style for me to read. I think it's also why Game of Thrones takes so much out of me when I read it as well. Just because of the amount of detail they go into. I'm not very good at holding my attention, so I do need a fast-paced, like page-turning book. I'm really glad that I've read it. Looking forward to reading the other one, but I am gonna give it a break and read something else in between before picking up this one again. Hopefully I'll finish it the last one in March, so we will see. I'd probably say if I haven't picked it up by the time I go back on holiday in March for a week, I'll pop it back in the jar. Yeah, that is all I have read this month. Now, I did buy 2 books and my fiance bought me a third, and that's one of the books that I covered in my last video, which I'll briefly go over this one as well since I'm just doing a roundup of the month. Bear with me. Okay, so the books that I've bought this month, I briefly was feeling a bit down in probably the second week into the new year, so I went to the local bookshop, and it's definitely not the biggest. It's basically, I don't know what countries have it. I've seen 1 or 2 shops in the UK. There's quite a large one here in Ireland, and it's called Eason's. So from Eason's I bought the Daylight War by Peter V. Brett. Sorry, I was trying to figure out if the V was too close to Peter. I think I've read something by this author before, but I honestly can't remember. But it's an author that I've seen quite a lot of, and it's something I've been interested in, so I thought I would give this a go. And then I also bought The Night Hunt by Alexandra Christo. I honestly can't remember what this is about. So it sounds like, okay, so it sounds like this book is set with a character called Atia. I'll probably have to Google how that's actually pronounced. But it's about angering the gods and looking for vengeance, dead family, and then there's someone else as well who swoops in, Silas, who ferries souls to the afterlife. So that's kind of what attracted me to give that a go. Okay, half my head is, I can just kind of feel where my head's wet, where it's just kind of shot out and skimmed me there, and I currently smell very tropical. Note to self, I need to move that when I film next because I'm sat right here. But yeah, okay, that won't go for another hour, so I think I'm safe. God, I can taste that. Yeah, so back onto this. So it sounds like it's possibly Greek mythology because it does also mention, like I read a second ago, it mentions ferrying souls into the afterlife, which is very kind of along the something river that I can't remember what it's called right now. Yeah, and then as I mentioned in my last book, my last video, I bought this in the airport, American Gods by Neil Gaiman. Sorry, his name always throws me on the first bit. Yeah, so from Neil, sorry, I keep wanting to say Niall, but I know it's not how that's spelled. Yeah, so like I said in the last video with this, I'm definitely interested in reading it. I vaguely watched it when it was in the background. My fiance could tell me a lot more about American Gods. I think she's read it. I know she's read some things from the author, but yeah. So, because it is the end of the month and we're about to start the new February month, I thought I would just go ahead and pick my TBR now. Yeah, so the Lord of the Rings I'm keeping out of the jar and I will be reading 1 a month. I've just finished the first, as I've mentioned, so the second one will hopefully be in February as well. But I want to pick something else because I'm really hoping for something else. Ready? Please be something that is easy to read. Okay. This month I am reading the First 15 Lives of Harry August. So I haven't read this one in, I say a year, so it'd be quite nice reading back through that. Let me quickly grab it from the bookcase behind me, where it's right here. Why did I think it was on the floor? Oh. Oh. I nearly missed my seat there. Yeah, the first 15 lives of Harry August. Now this book is definitely a bit bad. I don't know if you can see it, but there's creases here from where I've just obviously shoved it in a bag after buying it and travelling with it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this. This should be an easy read for me. I've read it before, and I think last time it took me a week, so shouldn't take me too long to read. Yeah, so I'm really hoping that this month, going into February, even though I start a new job and it's a full-time, I'm working 40 hours a week, I'm really hoping that I can read more than just 2 books. Really hoping I don't get sick. And also in March should be interesting because I am going on holiday for a week. So hopefully I can read a book or 2 while I'm on holiday. I'm honestly not sure what type of books would be over there because it's somewhere in Spain. I couldn't tell you where because I can't remember right now. But we'll see, I guess. Yeah, so let me know down below in the comments, how did you get on in the new year? Did you set yourself up well? Have you been sick like myself and unable to read for like a week just because you couldn't human? And yeah, let me know how your goals are going. I look forward to rambling at you guys on the next video. Bye.